For further analysis, we now cross live to Fahad Masood, retired squadron leader in the Pakistani Air Force. Now, from a military point of view, what do you make of a civilian airport being so close to a missile launch site?
First of all, I'm extremely grateful for you giving me the opportunity to speak, and extreme condolences to the people who have lost their relatives. Very candidly, there are a few factors that are very important to understand. One accident or a shoot down of this situation or scenario may relate to a causal factor or multiple causation theories that come across. In this case, if it is close to the vicinity of a military installation and, as mentioned, does an abrupt maneuver, undoubtedly, with all guns cocked, emotions raised high, and everybody ready for a fight, this was bound to happen. But rest assured, we really have to understand what could lead to this situation in which the chain of command in a military is overrun or has some misgiving somewhere, which resulted into launch of this missile and shooting down of the PS752 airliner.
As you mentioned, tensions were extremely high and the military was on full alert. So why do you think civilian flights weren't canceled before Iran's military switched to that full combat readiness?
I certainly would relate this to a fact that is once again well known. Strategic errors become tactical blunders. The strategy of either regulating or closing down the airspace under extreme circumstances could have avoided this whole scenario. I don't know how, why, or what was going through the strategic tier of Iran at that point in time. I was going through this flight radar online website. This same aircraft with the same squawk who had landed 1 hour 30 minutes prior at Tehran and now was taking off. So this airline and a lot of others had been coming in and had been flying out with all missiles flying. So this is one factor that needs a lot of understanding and in-depth analysis.
Tehran came out with a statement saying that the plane was mistaken for a hostile target, that it was the same height and shape of a hostile aircraft, saying that the U.S. aircraft were actually in the vicinity of the airport as well where the plane crashed. So is this just a case of the perfect storm?
Well, it does not relate in any context, because if we understand, if there's a projectile that's coming in to attack maybe or hit a target, it will be always coming high to low, not low to high. So this projectile as was taking off and going towards Kiev, the PS752 being specific, it was all in relation to an aircraft taking off. So I don't believe it had any intent of generating or triggering any alarm bells in Iran's military hierarchy anyways.
The foreign minister, Zarif, blames U.S. adventurism for the crisis situation that then led to the human error that caused this tragedy. What do you make of that statement?
Well, adventurism, yes. Once again, as I've mentioned before, it's always a chain of events that take place to an air crash in accident. In this one specific fact, the initiation was by Americans through this the assassination of General Qasem Soleimani, and the retaliation that took place from the Iranian soil of the two air bases that were attacked. So these are two initial factors, but what we really have to grasp here is the concept that was coined by Clausewitz, known as the fog of war. Whenever we have a volatile scenario where we are bound to have tensions raised guns cocked, soldiers ready to fight, there will be scenarios where we have to curtail this. And the big picture to how to reduce this scenario and how to de-escalate this, I believe the Iranians have taken the first step. I would certainly understand and relate this to Ms. Lais Doucet's analysis of this admission of fault by the Iranians. That they've made this mistake and it's a blunder that they've done, shouldn't have happened. But in the initiation process of this whole accident in which 176 people were lost was done by the Americans at the very onset. Yes, that is true.
Iran's president has, of course, called the incident an unforgivable mistake and has promised a full probe into the case. What do you think that will mean for those who are responsible?
Within the military, as I relate to, it is a very loud and clear situation because now this is an international event. In the military, the rules of engagement are very clear. The blames, or for that matter, the people or the designations responsible for these misgivings or incidents to take place, they will be held responsible. As Justin Trudeau has very specifically said, Prime Minister of Canada, that people have to be brought to the international front. People have to know what went wrong, where it went wrong. And I would certainly like to mention one thing, that this is a rather rudimentary surface-to-air missile system.
We've been speaking with Fahad Masood, retired squadron leader in the Pakistani Air Force. Thank you for your time and your comments.